Hi there, I'm Julia. Welcome to my talk called Creating Conditions for Success. And the reason I decided to record this talk for you is because, well, first of all, I really want to support you. I'm so inspired by what you're up to in the world, what you're creating. And my passion is in supporting people like you and bringing your gifts into the world and turning them into happy money. And the reason for that is because I believe that when we do what we love and we have a good, stable financial foundation, we can create really incredible things in the world. We can change things for the better. We can create harmony and well-being and a lot of happiness on this planet. And this is my wish for you and my wish for me and my wish for everybody on this planet. All right. So how do we create conditions for success and why is it important? So I'm actually going to start with why is it important? So here's the thing. We can have all the strategies, all the technical skills, all the copywriting skills. We can have a very clear vision of where we're going. We can have a community around us. But if we don't have what is necessary for us to be able to truly succeed, unfortunately, most of those things are not going to matter. And at least in my experience, it might matter for, it might be different for other people. But I've been an entrepreneur for the last 14 years. And in my experience, the conclusion I came to is that the number one key for success is actually having conditions, the right conditions for success. Because think about it this way. So let's take an acorn, okay? An acorn, a little seed that is coated with the potential to become a huge oak tree, okay? It has the potential inside of it to become this huge tree. Now, is every acorn going to become an oak? No, not every acorn is going to become an oak. The only acorns that are going to become an oak are the ones that are planted in the right soil, are the ones that receive the right amount of water and sunshine. And, because there's like little bugs around, that might like kind of fertilize the soil and all of that. So like all of these conditions need to be proper in order for the acorn to actually burst open and to start growing and becoming an oak tree. And the same thing goes with our business. I believe that we're, as human beings, we're coded with the potential to reach just incredible heights. Like our human potential is endless. Like I feel so inspired by what I believe to be possible for us as humanity on this planet. But if we are not planted in the right soil, if we are not surrounded with the right nutrients and the right amount of sunshine and warmth, and it's almost impossible to actualize this potential. It's very difficult to bring our gifts into the world if we don't have the proper conditions for success. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. And I'm going to share the 3 keys that I learned on my own journey of how to set up these conditions so that you can make sure that this dream that you have, this vision that you have for yourself, that it can actualize and become a reality, and you can become really, really successful with what you're doing. Okay. So key number 1 is setting up your physical environment properly. So you can start with, and I'm actually, so you see, I used to be a personal trainer and I work in the wellness field. So I'm going to start with the body. So how do you care for your body? Do you sleep enough? Do you get enough exercise? Is the food that you're eating, is it supporting mental clarity and proper levels of energy? Do you drink enough water? Do you go outside into nature enough to be able to allow your body to harmonize and to kind of move away from all the EMF and all the technology and all the like what is it called, electromagnetic pollution that we're kind of surrounded with? Do you have time to do that, and how often do you do that? And just to, there's so many other aspects you can think about, but those are kind of like the basics. So how do you take care of your body? Is your body taken care of properly for you to be able to actually have the energy that you need to create the business that you want to create and to share your gifts with the world? And not only share your gifts with the world, but turn those gifts into happy money, because that's really where we're going. I believe that's what we need so much on the planet today. So that's one thing. The next thing is emotional. How do you take care of your emotional space? Actually, sorry, let me just go back to the physical first, because I want to also touch upon a few other things, and then we'll go to the emotional part. So in terms of your physical reality, so how is your workspace set up? Do you have enough time to actually work on your project? Is there enough quiet in your space, or is it like so noisy that you can't even focus properly on what you're doing? Is there enough lighting? Is your space, is it pleasant to be in? Or is there like, maybe like the decor is not great, or maybe there's like a little bit too much clutter and sort of like distracting for you? So like, is your physical space set up for success? So just, have a think about that, and just like assess your life, and just see if your physical reality is set up for success in the way that you need it to be. Okay, so that's the first part. Okay, so let's move to the emotional part now. Here's the thing. So I'll talk from my experience. So when I work on really big projects like this summit has been, I tend to get really emotional because, well, first of all, this is my baby. Like, this is it's such a personal, vulnerable experience for me to create these kind of events. It's very special for me. And then the other thing is that I typically work with a lot of people. And when you work with a lot of people, there's like a lot of emotions that get mixed, put into the mix, including my own, right? Because it's like, someone feels anxious about something. Well, of course it impacts me, or my behavior impacts somebody else, and they feel a certain way. So there's like a lot of emotional, there's a very kind of potent, complex, emotional space that happens when I work on these kind of projects. So, and here's the thing. And this happened in the past. That's why I actually pivoted and I adjusted this area in my life. So in the past, what used to happen is when I would get emotional, like really emotional, that sometimes took me out. Like, I couldn't actually focus on the project I was working on because just being so like overstimulated emotionally. And over the years, I decided, okay, well, my emotions are not going anywhere. I'm a human being. I feel things. Of course, emotions will come up, especially when I'm working on something that is very important to me, very meaningful to me. So I ask myself, okay, well, if that's the case, so what do I need to do in order to navigate this properly, because I do want to keep moving forward with my projects that I'm so passionate about. So what I did for myself, I set up a coaching, a therapeutic relationship with someone, and actually, his name is Joe Atkinson. He recorded a talk for you called "Making Space for Inner Barriers for Success Through the Lens of Parenting and Attachment." So I worked with him, and he really helps me to, like if I become overstimulated or too nervous or too worried about something, or let's say I lose my sense of confidence, or if something happens in my personal life that impacts my projects, I work with him, and he helps me to stabilize, to harmonize myself, and to sort of like allow these emotions to flow properly, so that instead of getting in the way of my success, they're actually supportive of my success. Okay, so think about yourself. So like, how do you feel? What emotions come up for you when you work on your projects and when you work on bringing your gifts into the world? And if you notice that the emotions that come up for you are too difficult to hold on your own, you don't have to do it on your own. You could work with a coach or a therapist. And also another way I harmonize my emotions is that I work with a community. I belong to a community called Arigato Living community. I know a lot of you heard about it, and I know some of you are part of it. It's a community of really, really, really awesome human beings who are very kind and supportive and warm and friendly, and quite frankly, and actually I have a group in there. I'm one of the leaders in that community, and I have a group called Alive with Possibility, intuitive business / passion project mastermind. And as I've been working on the summit project, and my emotions started coming up, especially towards the, like the end of the planning phase. Because, like in the beginning, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, it's okay. Everything is all right. And then like, as the deadlines start to approach, it's like, oh my God, it's like it becomes this, everything gets amplified and speeds up. And they supported me through this just so amazingly, in such amazing ways. I was able to talk to them and just tell them what's happening for me, and they just came together and reflected back to me, what the power and possibility that they see in me, and they were very compassionate and understanding and supportive with me. And thanks to that, I've been able to not only follow through with this project, but do it in a way that surpassed my expectations of myself, which is just so fantastic. Makes me feel so excited and happy. So that's the emotional piece. So think to yourself, if when you work on projects, what kind of emotional support do you need, and do you have it in place? And if you don't have it in place, come join us, to join the Arigato Living community. We would love to have you. We love supporting people with bringing their gifts into the world. So we'll be happy to have you with us. So please join us. And there's a link below that you can click on to find out more about this community. And then the last key in terms of creating conditions for success is it's important to have a very strong relationship, a strong and trusting relationship with life. And what I mean by life is, some people refer to it as the universe, or greater intelligence, or great spirit, or higher intelligence. I mean, there's just so many names that we have for this organizing energy on this planet, you know, that I think if you're in this summit, I'm pretty sure that you're aware of what I'm talking about. And the thing is that especially when we work on entrepreneurial kind of projects, so projects that you design for yourself, so it's not like someone came to you and said, okay, step one, you do this, step two, you do that. Like they just give you like instructions and requirements for what you need to do. When the creation of a project comes from within yourself, first of all, what it's going to do is going to bring up, I would say, like most of your insecurities, if not all of your insecurities. I'm going to assume that you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so when we work on our projects that come from within us, it's important to trust that we're not doing this alone. We are supported by the energy of life, and that all of life is organizing around our success, and that we're being held, and that we're being protected and taken care of by this divine organizing intelligence, that it's much more, it's bigger, it's beyond us. It's not just us that are working on this project. It's all of life is working with us on this project. And I find that when I started tuning into this energy of life, and really connecting with this truth that all of life is organizing around my success and flourishing, I was able to feel much more relaxed about my projects and about what I'm creating and where I'm going with it, because I have this deep trust that no matter what I do and no matter what happens in my projects, and I will be okay, and it's all working for the greater good. It's all working itself out for the greater good, and that gives me a lot of peace of mind. And because of that, I'm able to create so much more than what I could have created if I was constantly nervous that something is gonna, things are gonna fall apart, and I'm gonna be doomed, and nothing is ever gonna work out. Can you see how working from that place, you can't really get anywhere if you're in that place. But if you shift into this open state of knowing and trusting that everything that you're creating and everything that is coming through you it's not only your own, it actually life created it through you. And because of that, life is really supporting you with everything that you're creating. So just give yourself the opportunity to really connect with this concept, and just see if it resonates with you, and if it does, how does it make you feel, and how does it change how you could approach your projects going forward. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to tell you today. And I'm just going to leave you with these two questions. So question number one is, what do you see becoming possible for you if you choose to embody this approach of creating proper conditions for success? What can you see becoming possible for you and your business? And the second question I wanted to ask you is, so what is your next step? If you do decide to embody this approach and give it a try, what is your next step? Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with your physical? I would actually encourage you to start with the physical part, because we do have a human body and we need to take care of it. But if you're already good in that department, then maybe the emotional aspect or the trust in life part. So just take a moment to think and connect with your next step. It could be like a tiny little step. It doesn't have to be big at all, but as long as you take it, because this is how you are going to start creating more forward momentum for yourself and your business. So thank you for being here. I'm so happy you joined us, and please enjoy the rest of the summit. And if you wanted to connect with me and maybe ask me questions or just tell me what's opening up for you and how all of this information is impacting you, you can reach out to me at alivewispossibilitysummit@gmail.com, and I'll be very happy to hear from you. So thank you for being here, and enjoy the rest of the summit. Bye.